You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts.
Hello.
We're back again with Love Your Shelf, and this time we're really excited because we're going to talk about the big read.
Yeah!
Which is...
We got very excited.
That's very exciting. Which is just around the corner. Mm-hmm. In fact, the kickoff event for the big read is January the 20th, and it's at the Stone Fort Museum on the SFA campus, and it's 1 to 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm. That's a Saturday, so...
No excuses.
Yeah, no one's at school. Some of you might be working.
But there's going to be so much fun stuff. It's free. There's going to be, the event is called Interior East Texas, because our book chosen for this year is Interior Chinatown, and it's all about stereotypes and cultural traditions and things like that. And so the Stone Fort, who always does amazing job.
Above and beyond.
Always. Is going to be exploring East Texas stereotypes and culture. So it's going to be funny. Mm-hmm. There's going to be wacky stuff happening. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people dressed up. There's going to be chili dogs.
Oh, these are all my favorite party things about parties. Yes. I'm like, are there chili dogs?
There's live
wacky
music. Live music. So everybody come out for that. Even if you haven't read the book yet, it's not going to, impact your enjoyment of the experience.
The big read will have lots of events where you can definitely still participate without reading the book. We would love for people to read the book, but please come to the events anyway.
And the book is definitely from our adult collection. And so, obviously parents can help their children choose if they want to read it or not. But we have read-alikes for not just for those who are, not of the age to read the book, but just people that want to explore the themes further or, read something else about that topic instead of reading our big read. Obviously, we want you to read that too, but we've got a whole list. We've got a big display that's going to be being put up at the front of the library. So come in, explore that. Pick up your free copy of the book. It will be arriving shortly.
The time of the kickoff, probably.
Yes. Very soon. So we'll, of course, put out a notice and let everybody know that the book is here to be picked up. And then we'll be going all around town, taking the book, copies of the book, for people to grab them that way.
Yeah.
So, it's all happening.
Can I very quickly say that I wanted to read it originally, but it was crunch time, and I needed to get through it. And I had housework to do over the weekend, so I listened to it. I've got 30 minutes left in the book, but I'm loving it, and more than I thought I would. It's very funny. I'm excited. I'm officially excited.
Yes, we do have obviously audio versions of it, which I listened to it as well after I had read it a couple of years ago. And the audio version is great. The narrator's wonderful.
Yes.
And it's very short. The book is short.
It's a 4-hour listen.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that the book is short like that is because the format is in that of a screenplay, or much of it is I guess, a screenplay. And so...
which is why you and I both were saying we didn't think that the audiobook would be...
We were curious.
Good. Or we wondered if it would, not... It did. It did translate.
And it was.
And it's great. Yeah.
It was, very good. And so, it's not a huge commitment. And we're going to have events all the way through, toward the end of March. So this year, we're really spreading things out so that people have plenty of time to participate in whatever way that they want to. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see the things that are coming up. And then on Eventbrite is how you can register for the events that require registration. Mm-hmm. Some of them don't. We are going to have some big all ages events and family-friendly events that will not require registration. And, of course, will be for everybody, that, even those who haven't read the book, and for kids.
Yes.
Because we really want to celebrate the book and the themes in the book and the subject matter in as many different ways as we can over the next couple of months. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
You lose nothing.
Exactly. And, of course, everything we do is free. So it is a really great way to, get your kids out, learn a little something, have a lot of fun, and you do it all without having to pay anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, little plug there.
Yeah, we are great salespeople. Okay. Salespeople that don't sell anything or make money, but
right.
okay.
Yeah. This is what we do. So, the first book that I want to talk about is also by the author of Interior Chinatown.
Okay.
Charles Yu.
Cool.
And this is from several years ago. It was published before Interior Chinatown. It's called How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe.
Nice.
And it is also funny.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't ready for how funny Interior Chinatown is.
Yes.
So, yeah, that guy's funny.
Yes. It's sort of like, if you've ever read, I've talked about Jasper Fforde before. It's also kind of like Doctor Who. It's
Love
basically about a character who sort of he fixes time machines.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but in order to do that, it makes him kind of a loner. He lives in his time machine of his own.
Mm.
And then, but there's family relations and his relationship with his mother and father, which also figures heavily in Interior Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
The main character has all of this,
Mm-hmm.
issues with his parents. And so that's the same thing in this book, but it's in a completely different way. Interior Chinatown is not science fiction.
Right.
It is
like
unusual.
Yeah.
It's kind of metafictional.
It's almost like the way somebody is taking something in or processing something in their own brain almost.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That's
it's kind
how
of
I saw it.
In his own mind, kind of seeing how these things play out.
Yeah, I'm an actor and this is my life, and so a screenplay is a way for me to easily swallow and process something. And so
yes, to see everything through that lens. And then in How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe, which is a mouthful, it's also this guy's interior monologue of how he is making it through. Being lonely. But it's also very funny.
Cool.
So I strongly recommend both of those.
Great.
And then I read a couple of other things not so funny, but definitely worth suggesting here.
The last podcast we did was you had read all spooky downers, and so this is fine. This is
getting back into that, but it's still no, it's not all spooky downers. But the next one that I read is The Anomaly by Hervé Letellier, and this is a book that will be part of our Books and Brews book club at the Fredonia Brewery, at which anybody can join if anybody wants to come to that. And it is a French writer, and it was translated. And so there was a little bit for me, whenever something is in translation, you can kind of tell.
Right.
And so there were just some little things that were a little bit off, but not enough to set you off of the book.
Was it more like a whole thought process that was kind of turned upside down because of that, or that's a funny
a little
word.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the book, I don't want to spoil a lot because there are surprises, but something strange happens to a flight of people that are coming from Paris to New York, and then the rest of the book deals with the fallout from what happened.
Oh.
And it is kind of harks to a little bit Lost, because it's on a plane, And then there is another series that came out recently that's about a plane and then the passengers.
Oh, it's like a bunch of time has gone by or something.
Yeah, they like.
Oh, I started
time
that
hasn't
one.
changed for them, but then they go back.
Yeah, they're all. It's like 5 years have gone by, but they're all the same age for their no time one.
Yes.
Okay. I started it, but yes. Okay.
Yes. So it's similar in some themes to that, but it's a different take on it. So
Okay.
I recommend it, and we'll be talking about it at the Books and Brews.
Lovely.
Then I read a nonfiction memoir by Margot Jefferson called Constructing a Nervous System. And she is a critic, and she's done a lot of writing, a lot of different kinds of writing, but mostly criticism. And so she sort of takes pieces of that and talks about also like injecting herself into the or injecting these pieces into herself, maybe is how to put it. The things that she has written criticism about, which covers movies, books, history, music, all of these different kinds of media, and it's really kind of a mashup. It's kind of her talking about herself and reflecting on her life while using the lens again of these things that she loves.
Okay.
And it's also a very short read. If that, it's a little unusual because of that. So it takes a minute to kind of get into her, I guess, headspace.
Yeah.
And to figure out how she's going about putting all of these things together. But it's poetic and interesting about her life, and so
Cool.
and also I think that it's kind of fascinating when in a memoir people talk about how much all of these other things, other books and history and media have impacted them so much in their lives, so that it's part of her nervous system. Like she's part of her, and you don't always see, read about that.
That is poetic.
Yeah.
I like that.
Then I read a dark downer called
Spooky Dark
Downer called Foster by Claire Keegan. And in it, this little girl is taken by her father to live with foster parents on this farm in rural Ireland. Gosh.
It's a
You'd
tough
think
one.
being from a rural area,
No.
we would be able to say rural
In
better.
30 Rock, one of the characters is working on a sitcom called The Rural Juror.
The rural juror, yes.
But
I
no
remember.
one knows what it's called. They're just like, rural juror?
Yeah, so, but I think around here people can
Yeah.
hopefully pick up that that's what I'm talking
Yes, sorry. Sidebar.
about. Maybe, yeah. So when she goes to the foster situation, she finds these people who actually treat her with care and want her to be there. But it's over a pretty short period of time, and it's not a permanent situation for her. And so it's pretty a little bleak, but it has some lightness to it, or some light in the dark. She kind of begins to grow in this new environment, but it's still
Still a pretty distressing, depressing situation.
yeah. I mean, in the area, they're small, rural area where it's very depressed, and so
I see.
so lots of issues going on there. But she won a lot of prizes. I actually saw this book recommended by Ann Patchett in an interview, and so I thought,
Yeah. Cool.
check it out. Then I read a novel called Looking for Jane by Heather Marshall, and this is her first book, and it's about I've read a lot of things like this, or I've seen, and there's movies about this kind of thing as well, but it's set in 3 different time periods, and it's all it starts with a letter that was lost for years and then found.
Cool.
And then the person who finds it feels compelled to try to track down the person because it's the information that's in there is so important. Of course. So it's set in 2017, 1971, and 1980. And it's a number of different women, but 3 main female characters. And I'll leave it at that because it is mysterious. But it also deals with big important issues as well.
Okay, it's okay. Vague enough, I'm interested.
Okay, good. And then I read a nonfiction called Strong Female Character by Fern Brady. And so this is part of like a new little segment that I want to introduce. Yeah. Of books that are Goodreads Choice Awards.
Oh, cool.
So I track all my reading in Goodreads. Sometimes I couldn't tell you what I've read without having to look back at my
I've
list.
seen it.
Yeah, it's very sad state of affairs, but it's helpful.
No, somebody mentioned there was a children's book. I can't remember what it was now, but I was like, no, I've never heard of it. And then I pulled it up and I was like, oh no, I've read this. Like,
yes, it happens all the time.
Yes.
So this book was nominee for Best Humor last year, and so it is pretty funny.
Good.
Also dark. It is about it's a memoir by a Scottish comedian, and she has had a kind of a rough life, which is not unusual for comedians, as I say. But this is sort of about how she's gone from working class to now being, on television and all of this stuff. But it doesn't, like, being on television doesn't solve all of her problems.
Right.
And so, it does deal with her neurodiversity and mental health challenges, as well as the challenges that she had to overcome from being, part of this, like, working class background where she didn't have a whole lot of opportunities and
Support
kind of struggled.
and all that, yeah.
She had like zero support from her family and just really had to kind of claw her way up and beat a lot of odds that way. But, she's funny. She has some great stories, some pretty wild stories. I would say it's kind of raucous. And
love that.
yeah.
Good word.
She went through some times where she had to do some very questionable things. And so, there's some moments where it's pretty rough. But I didn't really know her.
What's her name?
Fern Brady.
Oh, that's right. You said that earlier.
And
I
didn't know much about her. I think this just saw the book as a recommendation on Goodreads and checked it out that way. Yeah. So
does she have any stand-up anywhere? Or is she a comedian, like a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and she does, like, a lot of British TV.
Okay.
There is one of the things that she did was this show that I recently, I think I talked about it on here, and now I can't think of the title, which seems to be a theme. Maybe that will be our theme for the day. Hopefully not, but...
Oh, she looks familiar. Sorry, I looked her up.
Yes,
Okay.
and so she's been on this show where they get, like, I think 4 or 5 different, usually comedians, to do these tasks. Taskmaster, I think is what it's called. And the Taskmaster himself is super funny. And then the things that they have them do that are hilarious.
Love it.
And then each person, like, interprets how they're going to do those things. So, like, in one episode that I saw, they're, like, confronted with a bathtub full of water, and they have to get all the water out, but they can't just use, like, a bucket or whatever. They have to figure out how to get it out.
Okay.
And they don't have, like, tools.
I need to
so
do this, like, Maker Camp or something.
if you watch it, you will see it goes sideways.
No, I will not
quick.
want to do it for Maker Camp.
Even a small tub would still be hard.
Yes.
And so just things like that.
Yeah.
And then the ways that each person goes about it, it's always, they're always different. And so, there was a lot of humor in that as well. So that was just one of the shows that she had been on.
I love that idea. That's hilarious.
It was a funny show, and there's been many seasons of it. And for some reason, it just had never been on my radar.
Yeah, no,
and each
never.
season is with the same comedians.
Cool.
So each episode is a different task, and then
the same
they keep
people.
doing
So they
different
have
stuff.
the lovable characters, so to
Yes,
speak.
and they're competing with each other.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, very cute.
Love that.
Pretty wacky. And then I read a nominee for Best Science Fiction on Goodreads for last year, The Future by Naomi Alderman. And she wrote The Power, which was a show on Amazon with Toni Collette.
Yes, I was like, I know. I was staring at you like, I know this.
You know this.
Yeah.
And I talked about it
good.
before, yes. So there's been one season of that show. And this one, The Future, is very timely. It's about that there's a few billionaires that are just sort of running the show, and they live completely outside of society.
Tell me something I don't know.
But it's about this handful of unlikely partners that try to come up with something to address the problem.
Cool.
And
the way you just put that is so mysterious. And
it is very mysterious.
I love it.
And the people that there's a lot of there's not this is Mark Zuckerberg character or whatever.
Right.
But they draw from, or the author draws from a lot of
People
contemporary people. And,
cool.
So you can kind of this one must be pulling from so-and-so.
Yes, I love that so much.
But
what was the title again?
The Future.
Okay, love it. I'm gonna jump on.
And it is it goes in very unexpected places. I was surprised.
Cool.
Same thing with The Power. I strongly recommend both of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Has a really fresh take on things, which is good. And then another Goodread choice nominee last year, or maybe the year before, was it was for nominee for Best Mystery or Thriller. And so I read The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkauf. And this one was also unique. It was a mystery in a different kind of way than a lot of mysteries are established, set up, and then the thunder.
I was about to say the
rolls.
thunders. Comes a calling for the mystery.
I don't think they could probably hear it on the recording,
but it was very ominous on our end.
Yeah. So, as a number of books I've read recently, the theme is that the characters are true crime writers or aficionados. So in this book,
Interesting, yeah.
in The Overnight Guest, the main character is a true crime writer, and she has gone away from her husband and teenage son.
Smart woman.
Yes, exactly. She's gotten away from them for a while, but she's gone to this isolated farmhouse where there's about to be this big snowstorm, of course. And so
You're a true crime writer. Don't you know anything?
exactly, right? And you don't know why she's chosen this spot
I
or
really
anything
don't.
else about that.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Nobody does. And the reader doesn't know why she's gotten to the spot. But she knows that she's going to be trapped in this house because of the storm, at least, for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So then something happens.
There's an overnight guest.
There's some kind of overnight guest. How did you know? And so then this whole other mystery unfurls from there. And typically, one of my least favorite things about mystery books, and I will always, if this happens, I will typically just close the book and go on about my day.
Yeah.
But the problem is when the writer just doesn't feed you the information that you need. That's not
We've talked
hidden.
about this.
Yes, we've discussed this before. It's not hidden in an intriguing way, but but in a frustrating way.
It's just like, okay, well, the reason why it was a mystery is because you didn't tell me.
Exactly. Because the character knows all of these things, but you just don't know. And it's kind of feeding it to you.
And I have read books where I'm like, okay, this does serve a purpose.
Exactly.
And that's what you're getting at here?
Yes.
Yes.
So in this book, it does.
But typically, I'm like,
can be frustrating.
It can be a cop-out. I'm like, this is a cop-out.
It is, yeah. Like the bad mysteries.
Your mystery wasn't good enough.
Exactly. So take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
This one, in my opinion, it does make sense.
Okay.
Mostly for her to like not reveal.
Give it away. Okay.
But it's my least favorite type of mystery.
Yeah.
Typically.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So The Overnight Guest. If you're a mystery reader, you'll like it, I think.
I wrote it down.
Yes. I think that's all I have about books for right now. We're going to be talking so much about interior Chinatown.
Yeah.
And then over the next couple of months. But we will be, that will be another segment, I think, going forward, where we will talk about some of these read-alikes in similar books. So after this episode, the next episode, we will include that as like a segment because there's so many, and I do, I've been reading them, so I want to comment on how they connect to the book, and then, how they're different, how they might be more appealing or additionally appealing, and so I do want to cover those, and we'll do that next time.
Love it.
So I watched, shifting gears now, a couple of movies and a couple of series.
Cool.
And so I will discuss those. Some of these have really been in the zeitgeist, and like a lot of people have been talking about them. The first one,
I'm out of the loop, so I've watched a few things, and read something, but
okay,
loop me in. I don't know what's going on in the world.
So the first thing that I thought about this next, it's a book and a movie, is that it was related to The Future by Naomi Alderman. It seemed to me, I mean, not officially, but in my mind, I made a lot of connections between the two.
Cool, yeah.
And so that's Leave the World Behind with Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I'm afraid to watch that. It just looks horrifying.
There are some things in it that I think you would
really
would give you the ick.
Okay.
Yeah. And I won't say what, but there are a couple of...
It was just one of the... Well, like the trailer just made me feel like this could happen,
Yeah, it kind of also has vibes of The Cabin in the Woods, which I talked about previously, which then was made into a movie.
Yeah.
It was a book. So this one... it's directed by Sam Esmail, who did Mr. Robot, that series.
That's right.
And it's a book by Rumaan Alam. And it was executive produced by the Obamas.
What?
Mm-hmm. They're the producers of the film.
Okay.
Yeah. So, essentially, in it, this family leaves New York, goes just right out of the city. They get an Airbnb. And I'm not spoiling anything because this is in the trailer, but they get an Airbnb, and then which is like near the beach. So they go to the beach, and like a cruise liner or a tanker ship, some big ship, just beaches itself like on the beach where they are, and so they go home, and then things start to happen from there. Yeah.
Well, and I wasn't ever clear on what was actually happening. So I just want to be clear that I don't know what happens in the movies. What I'm worried about happening is the way people react to chaos. That was in the trailer. That was what made me be like, that could happen.
Well, so that night, they're, just back, they go back to the Airbnb and they're like, well, that was crazy.
Yeah, wow. We're going to talk about that forever.
Yeah. And then there's a knock on the door. And there's a man and his daughter there, and they say, this is our house. And everything is gone to chaos in the city. Oh. So we just came here. But the Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke are the couple that are in the Airbnb with their teenage 2 kids. They're like, well, we don't know that this is your house, or we don't know that you don't have nefarious intent or whatever. And then it goes from there. So the 2 characters that own the house are African American, and there is some dealings with racism, but also like, end of the world stuff.
Yeah,
you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, all I saw just a part of it while it was on, where Ethan Hawke and another character go up to a house, and Ethan Hawke's like, "What's up, man? Good to see ya." Or maybe the other guy's like, "What's up, man? Good to see you." And the guy like has a gun, and he's like, "Y'all need to leave." Yeah. And he's like his
it's
friend.
Kevin Bacon who says
That's right. That's right. I coming back to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, just like even that like snippet that I saw was, I don't know, eerie.
It's definitely tense. Mm-hmm. It's high stress, and
I will skip it.
But it is. It's an unusual take on the scenario. And then I will say that there are like Easter eggs in the movie, so watch closely.
Okay.
And see if you find
catch any.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the director of that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
He does that kind of stuff.
That's right.
But when I like you, I saw the trailer multiple times before I saw the movie, and it didn't look that intriguing. And Julia Roberts is not typically known for roles like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a fresh take
I do
from
love
her.
Julia Roberts.
Yeah. It's a very different role.
Yeah,
than what
and I love that she's
very problematic.
Yeah, really interesting. Huh.
And then the next movie that I watched was Asteroid City, directed by Wes Anderson. It's on Prime now.
That's right. I forgot. Oh my gosh. How was it?
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
Wes Anderson. I always have to do that when it comes to, like, there's certain filmmakers like him that, or Woody Allen or somebody like that that's like an auteur.
Yeah.
Or Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
You rate them against themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
So I always do that.
What would you say your favorite Wes Anderson movie is?
Bottle Rocket, his first one.
Oh, that's right. You talk about that one a lot.
The Royal Tenenbaums.
I was going to
is
say
in there.
Royal Tenenbaums might be up there for me.
Yeah.
I love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, that one's great. That one is hilarious.
Those are 2 of my.
And then that one is so dry and when my nephew was a child, that movie came out and I watched it. As frequently
that's
as
a good one for a kid to be hooked on.
Yeah,
I was in college when it came out and I saw it in theaters like 2 or 3 times. Like I took like different friends to see it. I got so into it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I also loved Moonrise Kingdom. It came out in like 2016, maybe before that even.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, like 2012 probably, because I remember I saw it in New York before I moved there. Anyway, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we showed it here.
Really?
Years ago.
Cute.
But back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's unique. It's got 1,000 famous people in it.
Always.
Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Jason Schwartzman, Matt Dillon, Tilda Swinton. Plus so many other people. It was just amazing.
It's like he gets more every time. Eventually, all of Hollywood will
everybody. Yeah, which is how Woody Allen used to be.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be in his movies, but they don't anymore.
Nope.
Anyway, so it's hard to say what it's about, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give too much of it away because I didn't know anything about it except what was in the trailer.
Same.
And basically, it's all of these people gather at Asteroid City, where an asteroid had hit, and there's people there that want to explore it. There's people from the government. There's like a scout troop there. It's just same.
I'm already picturing like a bunch of rocks that have been found, like laid out in some really orderly, cool way. Yeah,
definitely seen his movies before,
yes.
And so it falls like in the middle probably of Wes Anderson movies, but if you're a fan, you'll definitely
Of
want to
course,
see it.
yeah.
Sure.
I forgot that one came out.
And then I watched the second season of The Gilded Age.
I just started it yesterday.
The new season?
Yeah, I just finished the first episode, and I got distracted at the end of the episode. Anyway, I need to go back.
So it is beautiful.
Yes.
It is by the same people that made Downton Abbey. But it's got some great actors, really
Sure.
great actors. But they just don't have enough to do. And I mean, I think, obviously there's a part of me that's like, well, clearly, these characters have vapid, pointless lives.
Right.
But everything that they do and talk about is also vapid and pointless.
Well, and
you
that's
just,
what I was just trying to think, like, what is it about, like, that's what they did in Downton Abbey. There was more going, of course, but, like,
yeah.
what was it about Downton Abbey that kept me so riveted? Mm-hmm. And this, like, I like it.
Mm-hmm. It's just missing that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that suffers from binge watching. So I watched them all pretty much back to back, and it was like, well, we're still dealing with the same problem.
Yeah.
It's like,
might be better splitting it up.
Right. The main character is, confronted by other ladies in society.
The blonde girl?
They're all.
The main character.
I think that the main character is the mother.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Carrie.
Yes.
What's her last name? Coon?
Carrie Coon. Yeah.
Coon, yes. Oh, I adore her.
She does a great job. Like, she's riveting to watch.
She really is. She's one of those people that, like, you can't take your eyes off of her. Like, she was meant to do this.
And the secondary, the one who actually seemed like the main character in the first season.
Right.
Or started out kind of as the main character, Meryl Streep's daughter.
Yeah.
She's okay.
Yeah.
But not holding up
I completely
the level.
agree. No.
Anyway, so it's just, kind of a little bit of the same thing happening. And then whereas in Downton Abbey, the downstairs characters were like, they're more involved, they were more fascinating. And this one,
I do not care.
No.
I hate to say it, I don't care.
Yeah.
About any of y'all.
Yeah. So my recommendation is
it makes
partial.
me really want to, like, go back and watch some Downton Abbey or something. I don't know. I can't, because I can't put my finger on, like, what is it that.
Mm-hmm. And I wasn't even a Downton Abbey super fan. I grew to like it, and so by the end of it, I was.
I feel like that's
invested.
kind of the kind of show it is like, because I'm talking about, like, it's riveting. It's not. I mean, it is, but it's like
it's
quiet and slow, and I mean, there are some traumatic moments, but
yeah. But for the most part, it's pretty.
Yeah, you grow to love it, and
I didn't binge that, so that would have.
I
suffered
off
from
and
that.
on did though. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious
Because it was a little bit like, this kind of the same kind of things happening over. Are we going to lose all of our money? No, we figured out a way to.
Sorry for you. Yeah. And, like, that's the thing. I was like, don't let them lose all their money. No.
Living so vicariously.
Yes. I'm like over here, like, hope I can keep my lights on. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there is that. It's like part of the drama in the Gilded Age is, they're nouveau riche, so they haven't had money for that long, and so it's much more volatile. Mm-hmm. So the husband's storyline is that, he's trying to keep things going and make more and more and more and more,
of course.
Because, of course, that's what we do.
Yes.
But, so that is a little bit less interesting even than the society stuff. But,
yeah. I'm so curious.
Yeah.
I watched, this kind of piggybacks on that, show on Apple Plus called The Pioneer Girls. And it's, I said that it was like American Bridgerton, but less sexy. Like, and it's basically these young women who are like the children of
the nouveau riche.
Yes, yeah, these Gilded Age rich people. They go over to the UK to. Some of those people are losing money, and so they're like looking for husbands, and everyone can be rich and friends and happy.
Right.
But it was pretty cute. It was okay. I enjoyed it. I definitely did. But I don't know. I did binge it, and it kind of, now that you're saying that, it makes me wonder if like maybe I could have split that one up. I did like that it was. I don't know. What was funny to me was that it's like, all the English people are like, oh, these wild American girls. They're just so crazy, and they're giggling all the time. It's like, well, yeah, I guess we are. But I just liked how, like, because giggling was one of the things that, like, they talk nonstop.
Yeah, well,
I do both of those things. But it was still cute. I would recommend watching it if you like that kind of stuff. It did kind of fill that void.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my list to watch.
Yeah.
I do want to watch it.
It's cute.
So I have 2 more series that I watch. And another one is Lessons in Chemistry.
Yes.
And it's based on a book by Bonnie Garmis, as on Apple Plus. And the Leave the World Behind, as I said, is also a book. Neither of those have I read the book, which is very unusual.
Yeah, because you started Lessons in Chemistry.
Uh-huh.
And I piggybacked off of that. I put it on hold for myself, listened to it recently, and then just finished the series the other day. But probably the first time I've ever read a book you haven't read.
Yeah, and I'm like you said, I started it, but I ended up watching the show instead, and I've heard, you can tell me if it's true, that it actually, a lot of people have said that the series is better than the book.
Like there were things I liked about both. Some things I
heard it was just different.
Didn't like. It is. They added, like, there was not a civil rights racial aspect in the book at all. Mm-hmm. And one of the main characters in the book, they just fully change her, like who she is. Oh. And I like that they worked that in.
Yeah, because it's so prevalent in the period. Like,
yes.
It made sense.
I was like kind of surprised that the book didn't touch on that.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that, I thought it was interesting reading the book, and I listened to this one as well, and the narrator was really great. And I don't know if it was the way the narrator read her, the main character, or if it was, I don't know. Basically, Brie Larson plays the main character. She is a female chemist in the 1950s and 60s. What? And, of course, has a terrible time of it, making her way into that world, and eventually is forced to leave and finds herself hosting a cooking show called Supper at 6 on TV. And people just love her. Women just love her. And she, brings all of this power and empowerment to women.
And she can be herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Brie Larson played her a little bit more kind of straight, like personality-wise, than I felt like the book made it seem. And I don't know, I didn't dislike the way Brie Larson played her, but I felt like there were a few things in the story, both stories, that were almost a little too on the nose. Mm. I kind of felt like playing this like scientist woman as a straight personality person seemed a little on the nose to me. Mm-hmm. And even, I don't know, just some of the like feminist issues and the way they dealt with them was like, okay. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know, it just felt like we're taking all these like cliches, and
it was lighter in some ways, like in those mm-hmm. ways, than what I expected. And there was one point in particular where I was expecting there to be a backlash. I don't want to say exactly what it was, but she kind of offhandedly deals with something mm-hmm. that's related to that, like mm-hmm. the feminist theme, and then it just works out, and it's great. And I was like, well, I don't think that's exactly what would have happened. No, there,
is it the lady in the audience?
Yes.
Because in the book too, I was a little like, I wouldn't say cringe is too strong a word, but it was just a little like that felt a little like a cop out or something.
Yeah. The whole time I'm just bracing for, this is about to go down, and then it just didn't. And so it was strange.
The book talks that there is more, not with that scenario in the book, but the book in general I felt like touches on more of the backlash. I don't know.
Well, I didn't know, exactly what was going to happen. So I'm glad watching the series that it was surprising. But I do have to say that there is a website called doesthedogdie.com, and I had to visit that website.
Oh, I told my sister about what happens. The dog doesn't die.
No.
Like, we'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But she will not watch it based off of that. It's like, that's how sensitive she is. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I was in the shower listening to the book, and I was like, I'm taking a night, listening to this sweet little book. Did not see that coming.
No.
It's awful. And BJ Novak is is 630's voice. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
It was
I didn't
BJ
realize
Novak.
that.
I know. The dog's name is 630, which is so great.
Because he
wakes her
up every morning at the same time, 6:30.
Well, and I love how, like, her partner man guy, who is also a successful scientist, he says something like, oh, is it like zinc and blah, 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 like thinking it's some like science thing from the periodic table, and she's like, no, that's what time he wakes me up. Like,
yeah, there's very, very cute moments.
Calvin was, I thought he was cast perfectly. He was great.
Yeah, I think it was a really good
show.
series.
Yeah.
And apparently they're saying that they're open to there being a second season.
Continuing?
But I don't know how that
I don't
is.
know.
I don't know if that would happen. But
Yeah.
the last thing that I want to talk about is Shrinking. And I think we have talked about it here before. It's on Apple Plus with Jason Segel.
Yes.
And
Is
Harrison
there another
Ford.
season?
Yes.
Have you?
No, no, there's not. There will be. I have just finished the first season.
Oh.
So, because I started a long time ago.
Yes.
And then.
And I watched it.
Fell off my radar,
Okay.
and then I watched it.
Okay.
The whole
What are your
thing.
thoughts?
It grew on me.
I thought so, because I remember you saying, because I was like, I thought it was so good, and you were like, it's okay.
Yeah. Because I only
I'm glad.
watched the first
That's right.
episode.
Yeah,
or two.
yeah.
And it took a while to, like, get into the characters.
Yes.
Jason
agree.
Segel's in particular, because he's not a likable guy.
Right.
And he is a likable guy as an actor, as a person.
Exactly.
And so it was kind of off-putting.
Yes.
But
it turned
Harrison
out really
Ford
good. Harrison Ford was great.
He does a great job, unexpectedly. And yeah.
Who is the woman? She's the female counselor, therapist. I can't think of her name.
Is it Jessica Williams?
Is that her name?
I think so.
I liked her a lot. Her character.
Yeah, they're all funny and have their quirks, and there's funny stuff that goes on, and but it's also pretty heavy things too.
Yeah,
It's
it deals with
got a
some tough
balance
stuff.
of those,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would recommend it.
Fun.
But yeah, and they'll have another season of it. At
You
some
know
point.
what other season I'm ready for? Severance. When is that coming?
I was just talking to somebody about that.
I feel like I keep getting. It's like I think Google knows that I really want it to happen, because I feel like I'll get articles about Severance or when's it gonna come. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure the strike impacted them pretty harshly. So
That's
I think
true.
they were already
That's
working
true.
on it.
Well, they were already taking their time on it.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
It has. It was such a great series.
And that was one when I watched the first episode and just thought, oh, I don't know if this is for me. Mm-hmm. But then got super into it.
It takes off in a great way.
In
it is
really crazy way.
I think you and I were both saying it was one of the most original things we'd seen in a long time.
Yeah. So hopefully that's going to be soon. But
Yes.
Anyway, I think that's everything for this go around, and we will be back on a more regular schedule.
Yeah.
Weekly while we're doing the big read.
I have to keep everyone updated.
Yeah. And there is a way to send us questions through the app, or all the apps, I think. I haven't checked them all, but
open an app. You can probably ask us a question.
Yeah, there should be a link to ask us questions, but you can also email us or hit us up on social media if you want us to talk about something in particular, or want follow up on something that we talked about already, we're here for you.
Yeah, we are. That's
And
our
don't
job.
forget, yeah, exactly, literally, we are here for you. But yeah, don't forget to go to Interior East Texas on January 20th. It's really going to be a good time. And we really want to kick off the big read, with a bang.
Yeah,
So,
doing it a little differently this year, and I'm excited.
yeah. So we'll see you next time.
See y'all out there.
Bye.
Bye.